Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Jason Show, Home Edition. I'm Jace. Welcome to my little hole in the wall. My little, feels like a closet. And if I know anything, I know closets. It's a joke that some of you will get in about 2 seconds. But anyway, hope you were doing well. Hope you guys have had a nice weekend. Last week was incredibly difficult. I will touch on that in just a little bit. But thank you for joining us. Grab a cup of coffee. Hang with me for a little while. And speaking of food and stuff, one of the things I'm realizing in quarantine is all the little nitpicky things that you discover about your significant other. And let's see if you can relate to me on this one. Do you ever get like a hankering for something and your mind just, I can't wait to eat that bowl of cereal, or I can't wait to have that Chinese leftovers that we had the other night. And then you get to the refrigerator or you get to the cabinet and you discover your significant other has eaten said takeout or said cereal. This happened. We had just a little bit of Reese's Puffs. And I don't like sugary cereals, but I was craving this. And the night before I thought, I'm going to have that the next morning. And then I go to bed. Colin stayed up after me. And I wake up and I went in the cupboard and it was bare. It wasn't there. Colin had it for a midnight snack. And I just thought to myself, and then you're just mentally, you want it so bad. I almost went to the grocery store at 5 a.m. just to buy Reese's Puffs, but I didn't. Oh, well, communal living with your spouse. I love it. Okay, let's get started, everybody. It is time for the hot dish. Here we go. I don't have my spoon today, so I'll go like this. Ooh, it smells delicious, doesn't it? Well, first up, Disney World announced last week that they are reopening. If the government approves, if the state and everybody approves, 2 of the parks are going to open on July 11th, and the other 2 parks are going to open on July 15th. Now, I'm very excited about this. You're looking right now at the official Disney Park blog or YouTube channel, which is really cool. This is the nighttime spectacular at the Magic Kingdom. Anyway, a lot of new restrictions when the parks reopen. There will be no fireworks like you're watching right now. And they're also going to have temperature checks for guests and employees. They are going to have limited capacity. You must wear face coverings. There are going to be hand sanitizers around the parks and reduced hours as well. So no word on what the capacity will be, how you can make a reservation. But again, some of the things that won't be open are parades like the one you're watching right now. Anything with large groups of people, Disney will be getting rid of, which makes total sense to me. So the question will be, you guys know me, when am I going to be heading back? I don't know. I'm probably going to head back soon, just, from a work standpoint to report back. But all kidding aside, it's not just because I love Disney. If any company can do this well, it's Disney. And I think it's really smart of them to wait. Universal, I think, is opening this week. Disney's like, no, we're going to do this right. So I actually appreciate the thought that they're putting into this. So we'll see, and we'll report back. Okay, next, we're getting a sense of why Meghan Markle had a fallout with her sister-in-law. Here's the headline right there. Meghan Markle's royal wedding feud with Kate Middleton was about tights. Whatever. According to Page 6 and other British tabloids, there was an incident at Meghan and Harry's wedding rehearsal. Meghan and Kate argued, there's from the Sussex Royal Instagram account, they argued over whether or not bridesmaids should wear tights. Kate, in line with royal protocol, thought they should, but Meghan was opposed and eventually got her way. Meghan also reportedly left Kate in tears with her demands for what Kate's daughter, Princess Charlotte, needed to wear. By that point, Harry was already hurt by how Meghan had been treated, and the couple eventually left the royal family. You guys know that, and now lives in California. I got to tell you, I feel a certain way about Meghan Markle, and a lot of you disagree with me. I said it months ago when we cared more about the royals. Remember that? Remember when all we cared about was the royal family? That's all we had to worry about. Anyway, I digress. I just think, personally for me, the tabloids, the press, even members of that family, it's just really easy to blame Meghan for everything. Oh, look, it's cloudy. Must be Meghan's fault. Oh, look, Colin ate the Reese's Puffs. Must be Meghan Markle's fault. Oh, look, anyway, I don't like that. I don't think she's responsible for everything that's going wrong in that family. And to think otherwise, you're a Yahoo. Anyway, not you guys watching, but the tabloid people, you know. Okay, next in the dish. Do you guys remember the carpool karaoke with James Corden and Justin Bieber? This one right here. Remember this? It was great. It was a lot of fun. There's a problem though. Fans called him out online because they discovered that he doesn't actually drive. Instead, he was being towed. Now, I didn't think this was a big to do, but whatever. Initially, he said he was only getting towed at the points where he does dance routines because you can't really dance and drive. That's a little distracting. But that turns out it's not exactly true. What do I mean? Well, James went on Ellen, okay? James told Ellen that he has had eye troubles for years, dating back to an injury while he was performing a play and hit his eye with a trash can. That's what he told Ellen right here in this interview. During the Bieber segment, his eye pain flared up, so they determined it wouldn't be safe for him to drive. Then, a few weeks ago, it got so bad he underwent minor surgery and had to miss several of his remote shows. So now we're getting the full story. Either way, who cares? First, I hope his eye's okay. And number two, why did we think it's TV? It's trickery. It's, I'm not really standing in. This is actually, you know what? I'm like Kelly Ripa. I'm on an island right now doing this show. How do you feel about that? I'm not. You know what island I'm on? I'm on the island of my extra bedroom. There's my bed right there. There's not my bed, but there's a spare bedroom right there. Anyway, before we take a break, I just want to say, by the time this airs, it will have been a week since the horrible, horrible death of Mr. Floyd. And like a lot of you, I am struggling to find the right words to put with my emotions. I'm struggling to deal with what I'm seeing there with his death. I'm struggling to reconcile with the fires and the destruction of South Minneapolis. But most importantly, I'm trying to figure out how to be a good member of the community following yet another death like this. I have lots to say, but I think it's really important right now to not say anything, but just to shut up and listen. Listen to people who know better so that I can be part of the solution and not part of the problem. I just want to send love and blessings to his family and to the city of Minneapolis, that I hope we can come through this better. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. More Hot Dish, and I'm going to serve this one with the kitchen assistant. Please welcome a friend. There's Kendall with the beautiful flower in the background. Hey, it's not dead yet. That's amazing.
Oh, yes. You like my faux flowers?
Oh, I see. Why do I always think they're real? They're faux?
They're faux. Well, the fern was real, in your defense. These are from Target Boutique.
Okay. And then grandmother's lantern is next to it, right?
Yes. Grandma's lamp over here, doing great.
I called it a lantern, but my grandmother, I think every grandma had one of those. And then my mom took it. So it's beautiful. Anyway, How you doing?
I'm doing really well, other than this seriously ferocious sunburn.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it'll come across on TV. Let me take you full screen there. Okay, move your hand, Kendall. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. You look like a lobster. I just want to get a container of drawn butter and, yeah.
Eat it up. It was, in my defense, no, I don't have any defense. I just didn't pack anything higher than SPF 15, and I'm Swedish.
Oh,
and that was stupid.
You need kind of SPF like 52. It kind of like what I needed on my lips. Remember when everyone's laughing? Remember when my lips blew up last year?
Lipgate. Yes, I remember. So I always make sure to wear my lip sunscreen, but apparently not my Rest of Me sunscreen.
Before we get to the hot dish, you and I haven't spoken since the news came down, and I wanted to get your take on it. I'm sure you've talked about it. How do you feel about, speaking of the lips, because that happened at the State Fair last year, how do you feel about the cancellation of the State Fair?
I get it. I think we all expected it. It still makes us sad, though. It's just such an institution here, for everyone. We've been going forever and ever, amen. And from a business standpoint, I'm sure that those folks are just crushed, but also understand. It's just, there was no good way to do it, right?
No. Because you know what? I was thinking about, it's not like a normal amusement park where you can put different things into place, like a Universal Studios, which is opening. I was thinking about it, Kendall. The busiest day, it is literally shoulder to shoulder and people sweating on each other. And it's just, I can't, as much as I wanted it, I just couldn't figure out a way for them to do it. And I think this is what ultimately made the decision for them to do it without taking away what makes the fair special to begin with,
It's so interactive and face to face. And even just think about all those different streets, number one, that we all think of when we think of the fair when you're jam packed, but also just the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, how would they do that?
Yeah. Well, let's focus on some good things. We have a couple shows to tell you about. First, it's funny, Kendall. I saw this and we're going to start with Netflix, friends. I saw this in my Netflix kind of suggestions and I skipped it. Tell the folks about this.
Okay, this is the big flower fight. If you're someone who likes flowers, if you're someone who wants a show that you can easily binge and consume while you're doing other things, and specifically people like Jason who love the British Bake Off, you will really like this show.
Okay, I'm looking at some video where I'm showing the folks the trailer. It does look very British baking show. Is that by design, Kendall?
Yes, absolutely looks like that. I'm assuming that it's the same producers, it's the same something, because you've got your two hosts, your main judge every week, plus there's a guest judge that they'll bring on based on what they're working on. And there's the difference being, of course, that there's teams. It's not just one person. They have 10 teams. Every week, someone's that week's best gardener, and someone else goes home and you whittle it down. But it's in the countryside of England. It's in a large dome. You have a certain amount of hours to finish whatever the challenge is. They even do little sketches like they do in the baking show about what the finished product is supposed to look like. So it's just like it in a lot of those themes. But the difference being flowers, of course. There's also Americans on the show, which is like, oh, okay.
Okay, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. And I'm gonna say this carefully. One of the charms of the Great British Bake Off is the fact that it is very British, because American reality shows, and you know where I'm going with this. American reality shows depend on a lot of drama because we can be dramatic. Right. I love that about us. So do the Americans? Do we add or do we subtract from the charm? There's the best way to say it.
I think you put it really well. You know what? The show is laid out in such a way that it's so un-American drama that the Americans don't really add any drama to it. In fact, I have two favorite couples, I guess, two favorite teams to watch out for, I think, this season. And one of them is European. Okay. And one of them is American. And the European team is more dramatic, I guess you could say, ironically. Their names are Jan and Hank. The minute you watch the show, you'll know who they are. They just stand out from the crowd for sure. They're both Dutchmen.
Are they a couple or are they friends?
No, they're just friends. I think one of them's from the Netherlands and one's from Holland, maybe. Anyway, love them. They're so creative. They do really well. And I'm not ruining anything by saying that. I've only watched 3 episodes, so I don't know who wins. But they're clearly really good. And the other team is 2 women who are wedding florists in Maryland. And I just love them. They're so wholesome American, funny. Okay. But also clearly Americans. And it's a good show.
It's called The Great Flower Fight?
The Big Flower Fight. Or The Great Flower. Is it the big? It's the great? It's
it doesn't matter. I wrote it down on my hand. Not really, but I'm going to remember that one. Now, a little bit later, we ran out of time. I have a story that, let's just say it's a little frightening, but we'll save that, as Vanessa Williams said, for last. We're going to take a break. More right after this. And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. Kendall, continues to hang out with me because, well, she just can't get rid of me. I'm very sorry, Kendall. Now, a few minutes ago, remember I told you I didn't get time to do a story with the hot dish, Kendall?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, I decided that I want to keep my promise. But here's the problem. It really doesn't qualify as a Jason's non-negative news story. So, but since, it's kind of our show, I think I can change it a little bit. So it's not negative, but it's not real positive either. It's more terrifying.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Are you ready?
I don't know, but sure.
Okay, here we go. I'm just going to, I like a good headline. I'm just going to put the headline up and then we get to react. Well, you'll get to react because I already know the story. Here it is. This was in the USA Today, I believe. Hungry rats may become aggressive amid COVID-19 restaurant shutdowns.
What?
Yeah.
That's the story. That's the headline?
That's right. Hungry rats are going to become aggressive, especially in New York, because they're hungry. Holy ratatouille. There's no food for the rats to eat, so they are peed. They are peed off. So they're going to start probably attacking us. There's probably one by your leg right now as we're doing this.
Okay, so is this like a bad episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? What's happening?
No, this is real. This is a real. That is a real headline. This is from the CDC. This isn't from like The Onion. That headline is from the CDC. Rats are hungry and they are coming for you. Well, especially you, Kendall. They're coming for you.
No, when I went to New York once, I was walking down the street and a rat came out of underneath. They have the garbage piled up everywhere, A rat came out and it was like bigger than a dog, Jason. I hurdled. I mean, I probably could have beat Usain Bolt in like a race. I was going so fast down the street because that thing was so big and scary. Eating hungry, aggressive rats. Like, what is this, Revelations? This is terrible.
Well, and I'll see your story and I'll raise you. My buddy Alexis from the radio show, Alexis worked on The Spirit of Boston. She was a server on The Spirit of Boston with her now husband Angel. And this was, I think she was in her early 20s. And she was working The Spirit of Boston, got off, put some sandals on, and was hanging out. And she feels something running on the top of her foot. And she looks down. And she said there was a rat because she would feel the feet and then she felt like what felt like a hose. So she looked down and there was a rat the size of a collie running back and forth over her sandals. And then the tail was it felt like a garden hose. That's how big this thing was in Boston.
Oh my God. Oh.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes Jason's non-negative news. Thanks, Kendall, for hanging.
Glad I could be here for this.
I am too. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after these words. And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. I am thrilled because Kendall's basically in this entire show today. She's here once again. Now, this time, the two of us, we're doing kind of a part 2 of a cooking challenge that we started a couple weeks on the show. As you know, all of us on the show, Jeff, Ted, Kendall, we did various quarantine cooking challenges. Jeff made that coffee. Ted made guacamole. Kendall made, what were those, Kendall?
Vegan chocolate chip cookies.
Okay. Anyway, and I made chicken finger. I did the Great Chicken Finger Challenge. Now, I have a part 2 to that coming up in just a little bit, but we're going to start with the lovely lady first. Kendall, what did you make?
So TikTok, I was inspired by Jeff. He made his fancy coffee that's all the rage on TikTok. So I was like, I want to make a TikTok meal. It's got to be easy, right? The kids do it.
Have you made that yet, by the way? Have you made Jeff's coffee?
It sounds like a lot of work.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to tell Jeff because he's very tender when it comes to like his cooking. But yeah, I need to make it. But yeah,
I know. I mean, yeah. So I was inspired though to try something easier. So I found the hashtag the pancake cereal, and I'm like, That's gotta be easy. And you watch various recipes. Some people use like funfetti pancakes and make cereal out of it. Some people use like raspberries, strawberries in their cereal, pancake cereal. One lady did a rainbow, and I'm like, okay, this is easy. I can do this. So it's this simple. You literally make pancakes like you normally do, whisk it all together. And then what you're supposed to do to make these little mini pancakes that you then put in a bowl like cereal is you're supposed to use a piping thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those,
like a frosting,
thing?
like a frosting piping.
Yeah, girl, you know I didn't use that. That sounded way too complicated. Yeah. So I thought I was smarter than the recipe. Put the little pancakes on the grill how you're supposed to. Well, turns out when they're that small, they cook really, really fast. And when you don't use piping, it's really hard to keep up with the pancakes you're putting on. So I think they're okay. I flip them. It's fine. And when you're done, supposedly you eat it like you would. You can either eat it like normal pancakes. You put it in a bowl and put some butter and syrup, or whatever else. A lot of people put syrup and then milk in it, so it's like cereal and pancakes. I didn't do that because my dogs got to eat them. But you know, I mean, I'm willing to try again if anyone else wants to let me know how theirs goes. Maybe use the piping. It's my...
Yeah. I love you. This doesn't sound like a hit.
No, and it's not hard. Like, this is the easiest thing ever. You make little mini pancakes and call it pancake cereal. And I screwed it up.
This kind of sounds like your monkey bread disaster. I don't mean to bring up a troubled past, but this kind of sounds like that.
I mean, it kind of sort of was exactly like that.
Okay.
It just skipped the steps, and it just didn't work like that. But you can see through the video that Harvey and Stella were very happy with the pancake cereal. So
very happy. Well, as I said, I continue the Great Chicken Finger Challenge. This was inspired by the People magazine food editor, Shay Spence. Great guy to follow on Twitter. Again, I have to compliment Jeff on that find. But he decided to go in his cabinets and think to himself, okay, what do we have in the cabinets to dunk homemade chicken tenders in? So we did it last week, and I did Dot's pretzels, blah, blah, blah. Well, we did some new items this time. We did sweet and savory. So this week we did Doritos, Cool Ranch Doritos, Fritos, and Cheetos, Kendall. And then for sweet, we did cereal, more cereal. We dipped our chicken tenders in Corn Flakes, Corn Pops, and Reese's Puffs. Reese's Puffs. Now, right off the bat, Kendall, what do you think sounds the best?
Cheetos or Doritos.
Okay.
For sure. The worst absolutely sounds like the Reese's Puffs. What were you thinking?
Well, I got to tell you, okay, I'm not going to get to it yet. So if you miss the steps again, you grind your breading in a food processor, and there's what it looks like right there. And then, the steps are pretty easy. Here we go. You dip them in flour first. And this step, Kendall, really surprised, like my mother-in-law, she usually just dips the chicken in egg first. But this was a trick that I learned. You dip the chicken tender in flour first, then in the egg, because the egg sticks to the tender better because it kind of gloms onto the flour. Okay. Then you dip it in then the breading, and you fry in a skillet for 8 to 9 minutes. So here it is. There they are frying up both the sweet and the savory. Now, again, Kendall, which one did you think sounded the best?
It's a toss-up between the Cool Ranch Doritos and the Cheetos. So I think I'm going to go with the Cool Ranch Doritos.
Here's what is shocking. None of them were losers, but none of them were huge hits. The best one was actually the Reese's Puffs to me, because it had the most flavor. It almost tasted like a chicken satay. We realized, and here, Kendall, this is a little tip, I'm going to do the Cool Ranch ones again, but maybe with the egg, I'm going to add some ranch dressing, because the problem is not a lot of flavor gets transferred after the frying. The frying kind of, burns away a lot of the flavor profile of because I was excited about the Fritos. The
Okay.
Fritos were good, but it wasn't the flavor of the Fritos, the flavor of the Cheetos, the flavor of the Cool Ranch really did not come through as much as I wanted it to. So if I would do it again, and I'm going to use the Cool Ranch as an example, I would dip it also in ranch dressing to bring out the flavor of the breading. Or, Kendall, you know what I'm going to do? Again, hashtag Jeff is always right. I'm going to try doing these in the air fryer so that way the frying the oil doesn't take away from the flavor.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah, I'm
it was.
very curious. Cool Ranch should be better.
Yeah, I was
Doing
hoping
it.
Cool Ranch would be better, but anyway, let us know what chicken fingers. A lot of you are taking the Great Chicken Finger Challenge. Let us know what you're cooking up on our Facebook page. Okay, Kendall, go get something to drink. You have a little break here, just a little bit. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome back to the Jason Show, everyone. You've been alone a lot lately, which means you might have been picking up a hobby or two. Probably reading is one of them. I know for me it has been, and summer is just around the corner, and that means I'm going to be reading even more because summertime means a lot of book time for me. That's really in large part because of my mother. We've been reading since we were little kids. She used to read to us every night before we went to bed, so I thought, what better person to talk to about reading and which books we should be looking into than my mom, Sid. Hi, Mama.
Hi, Kendall. How are you?
I'm good. It's so weird to have this interview with you on Zoom.
I know, social distancing. I'm not a fan.
Not a fan. I just want to hug you.
I know. Thank you.
Well,
Yeah, so when you talked about reading, you're absolutely right. I do have a job that I love, mainly because it's at a library, so perfect fit for me.
Well, before we get to the juvenile books, I picked a Minnesotan author, a book all about Minnesota that
Yes.
you recommended to me. This was one of my favorite books. You have it, being
Yes, I do.
the
I've got it at home.
that you are. Right there, it's The Lager Queen of Minnesota. If you can't see it, we'll put a little graphic up. But it's called The Lager Queen of Minnesota by, is it J.
Ryan Stradal. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his last name. It's Stradal. He was born and raised in Minnesota. Has won a major book award for his first book, which was on the New York Times bestseller list as well. And it's called Kitchens of the Great Midwest. He won quite a few awards for being a debut author at that time with that book. And this new book of his, The Lager Queen, is actually going right down the same path. He's a very interesting man, and I just love him. I just love this book. He now lives in LA.
Love Dad. You like the book.
I love this book. I do love this book. So you tell me why you liked it.
Well, I really loved it. One, I love stories that are intergenerational. So you hear the perspective of two sisters and the granddaughter specifically of one of these women. Without giving too much away, one of them becomes very successful in the brewery industry. The other has a pretty rough life, even though she's this wonderful woman. And her granddaughter is the granddaughter we hear about. So just hearing intergenerational content. He talks about places in Minnesota, in the metro. He talks about places outside of the metro. He talks about breweries that that are local. So it's really cool if you like that intergenerational story weaving. It's great if you're interested in beer and how to make beer because,
yes,
you know half that stuff.
I'm not even a beer lover, and I wanted to go start drinking beer when I got done with this book.
That's for all of us adults. Then you've got one for JYA.
Yes, this is considered JYA, and the name of it is The Truth as Told by Mason Buttle. This book was published in 2018. It's written by Leslie Connor, an already established author. And all of us at the library that are interested in children's literature thought this would win awards last year. But this year it has come back up again, and it's nominated for a National Book Award for Young People's Literature, which I think it deserves. This is also a classic story. Mason Buttle is the most lovable character you will ever meet.
Really?
And by JYA, I mean juvenile literature, but it can go up to probably, it's around 12 to 16 years old, I would say.
Okay.
Because it does have a little more of an adult take on the concept. So he's this big kid, biggest in his class, has a terrible learning disability, so no one thinks he can read or write. They think he's stupid. He has a sweat issue, so he's always perspiring and feels real gross, but he's got the kindest heart. Anyway, this makes him, of course, he's constantly bullied, even though he's the big kid in the class. And compounding all this is he's got a major amount of grief he's dealing with. His mother has died, his dad has gone, and here we are at the intergenerational again. He lives with his uncle and his grandmother at this apple orchard that his family owns. And so he has no friends. He's also kind of hounded by this police lieutenant who thinks that he is to blame for his former best friend's death. His best friend died on their property. And so he feels he can't understand why this lieutenant doesn't believe him and what he's saying and telling the truth, because Mason Buttle is as honest as the day is long and would never tell a lie. And then we have a new friend that comes into the picture and all the drama that happens with that, and he goes missing. So again, everyone's looking at Mason Buttle thinking he did something, but fascinating story.
The final book, we've got about 30 seconds.
Okay, I'll do it really quick.
Readers.
This one, Who Wet My Pants? Fabulous book. Great story time, read aloud for a child to look at, because it's written by Bob Shea, who is an author and an illustrator, and then it was illustrated by Zachariah O'Hara, who's also a very, very famous illustrator in children's book. So what they say about this is it's not the crime, it's the cover-up. So here we have, I can't remember his first name, Reuben. He's the troop leader, and he brings donuts for his troop. And instead of looking at the donuts, all these little woodland characters are looking at a wet spot on the front of his pants. Oh. And he says, "Who wet my pants?" Of course, he's embarrassed. He tries to go through this whole, I didn't do it. How could it have happened? And all his friends are being very kind and basically telling him, it doesn't matter. It was an accident. We'd still love you. And so such a great story in 32 pages. Highly recommend it. And I highly recommend Bob Shea and the Zachariah O'Hara, who's a fabulous illustrator.
Well, Mom, thank you for helping us out. We've got our adults, we've got our teens, and now we've got our kids with Who Wet My Pants.
So many books to read.
So many books. And of course, check out your local library. There's always people there that will help you if you're ever looking for a book. Hey, if you missed any of these books, of course, we will post this on the Jason Show Facebook page. You can always reach out to me on Instagram, kendall.mark. My mom will probably answer you. And she'll tell you exactly where to find that book. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you. Have a great day.
The Jason Show will be right back.
And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. Look who's here. That's right. All of your favorites in one space. Ted, don't wave. Ted, don't wave. You're going to be... Okay, Ted did a safety. He just looked in every direction, as did Jeff. Kendall, just look all around, Kendall. Just look in every... Thank you, Kendall.
You look dumb.
No, it's fine. You never, ever look dumb. Never. We are so glad that you're here. And today, we're going to talk about some of the things that we've all been doing to keep ourselves busy during quarantine. Now, earlier in the show, Kendall told you about the big, fluffy flower fight on Netflix. Jeff and Ted are busy watching something else. Ted, would you like to tell the friends what you guys have been watching?
90 Day Fiance before the 90 days.
Okay, is this just the new season? Because Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. TLC's been doing this the before the 90 days for a while. This is just the new season, right?
For a few years, and for just to catch people up at home, before the 90 days means the Americans go overseas to meet them for the first time, and then they begin the process of bringing them to America. That's before the 90-day visa.
And Ted, I've actually, because Jeff got me into the show. I've seen a couple seasons. What makes this season? Because I've seen this on a few email chains. You are very excited. What is it about this particular season that's so good?
There's just a lot of things going on with this season. Let's just get into it and introduce you to some of these people, right?
Okay.
So we've got Rose and Ed.
Oh my! See, I love Ted. I love the fact again you're saving us on our graphic budget. You just have your iPad there. Now, who is that again?
That's Ed. He's 52. Rose is like, what, 23, Jeff?
Oh, 23, 24.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
And he's like really into her. She's pretty snarky. But the big thing is he doesn't want to have any more kids. And like, that's a big thing. She wants to have kids. And so he goes all the way to the Philippines, meets her family. They do their thing together and then tells her, and
he takes a shower with her father.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
yes, I jumped over that.
Wait. Kendall's face just literally flipped upside down. What? Kendall, what? He took a shower with her father?
Yeah, what?
He didn't want to. First of all, the first episode when we met Ed months ago, he washes his hair with mayonnaise because he says it helps moisturize his hair. He has sensitive skin, so he has to have 1,000 thread count sheets as well.
Ted, you use honey mustard, don't you? Right there. There he is, right there. Ted, you're using honey mustard on your hair, aren't you?
That's what I use. Yeah, that's what I use.
Mm-hmm.
So Ed is dating Rose, even though he knows that he doesn't want to have kids anymore. He finally tells her, and her reaction was about what you would have thought.
Okay. Then.
Yes.
Wait, I'm sorry.
I know what Ted's going to say.
Wait. Kendall has a question for the jury. Kendall?
So having babies with that crazy man was the line for her, not the mayonnaise shower, not the fact that he's twice her age, not the fact that he showered with her dad. It was the children.
Oh, she wanted him to shower with her dad.
She's the one who made him do it. Yeah.
I can't.
Okay. Now let's get to Ted. What are we missing here?
Yes.
So let me introduce you to David. That is David. David has been dating a Ukrainian named Lana for the last 7 years. And how have they been dating? Through an app, a website. He doesn't have her email address. He doesn't have her phone number. He doesn't really know anything about her other than this website.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. He's basically dating almost an inanimate object.
There are pictures.
Thank you, Jeff. There are pictures.
And he's gone to Ukraine not once, not twice, 3 times before this season, and she hasn't showed up.
No.
4 times?
3 times.
Imagine Grace stood up after flying to Ukraine.
Yes, stood up 3 times. So we do the fourth one at the beginning of the season. 4 times stood up. Just when you think David is out of it, lucky number 5, he goes back.
What?
Yeah. And
5 times to Ukraine?
And look who he meets. Lana, she's real.
She shows up.
After 5, she shows up? What was the cat? Oh, I guess you have to watch the show, but is there a big reveal of why she ignored him 1 through 4?
She's a little
busy.
shady.
Yeah, it's a little shady.
She didn't know if he was the one or not.
What?
But she wants to go to America because they have a lot of makeup to buy. That's what she said on the show.
That's not what she said, really, because we have Sephora's.
Yes.
Good math.
She's coming to America for Sephora?
Yeah.
Okay, are these your 2 favorites?
Well, there's one more, Ted. Sorry to interrupt. There's a woman named Yolanda. Oh, well, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yolanda. Yolanda is also from Las Vegas, like David. And there's a guy named Williams from Great Britain who she thinks is in love with her. Well, it turns out Williams is probably a scam artist, and she still won't believe her kids if you keep telling her this. So we're still waiting to find out what happens.
And they do reverse image search on this guy, Williams, and they find out he's just this stock guy with his shirt off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a stock photo guy that comes in the picture frame.
Yep.
While you guys, we have a couple minutes left. While you guys are watching 90 Day Fiance, and I know I tried to get Jeff on this bandwagon, and if you follow me on social, you know I have been playing the Animal Crossing game on Nintendo Switch. Now, this game is similar to, now I'm not going to get the terms right because gamers have specific terms for these types of games, but it's basically like The Sims. If you've ever played The Sims, you create your own universe. But in this, you create civilization on an island. And it is, the business aspect of this is it's Nintendo's best-selling game on the Switch ever. Like, ever. The numbers are crazy. My theory is because the world is, we don't have any control over our real world. This is the only world we can have control over. But you have to, build a house, and there's little squirrels, little raccoons that run the island that they're really crooks, but you have to sell fruit to them in order to get money. And then you can use the money. Why are you laughing, Jeff? And then you can buy furniture, and you get to chop wood
like
and
real
fish.
Life.
What?
Kind of like real life.
Yeah, there's mortgages. Like I have a $1.5 million mortgage on my house.
That is not real life, okay?
No, it's not.
I wish I could use fruit as money.
No, you don't. You sell the fruit, Jeff. You sell the fruit. Then you get money. It's not really called money, but then you can buy things like an extension to your house.
A question.
Yes.
Do you win, or do you just keep collecting and making things?
That's a really good question. You don't really win Animal Crossing, just like you don't really win in life unless you're Ted. You win by you want a 5-star rating, Jeff, on your island. And there's a dog in the community center that judges your island. And you have to keep it picked up. You have to have a lot of fencing and decorations. And if you get 5 stars, then you kind of win the game.
Okay, so if you played Sims, there were many different ways to cheat. Like a lot of ways to cheat. Are there hacks for this game?
Great final question. Yes, because this game operates in real time. So if you plant like a tree, it takes a little while to grow.
Right.
You can cheat this game by adjusting the clock in the Nintendo Switch to speed things up. I won't say that's what I did, but that's what I did.
Can you invade someone else's island?
Great final question. Yes. You can go visit people. Like Colin originally lived on my island, but then I didn't like that, so I booted him off the island and I turned his house into an outdoor pizza parlor. I bulldozed Colin's house and made him get his own island. Yeah.
How much time do you spend on this game a day? I'm not judging. I'm just asking.
That's going to do it. Say goodbye to Jeff, Ted, and Kendall, everyone. TLC is the home for 90 Day Fiance, and Animal Crossing is available on Nintendo Switch. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. I'm just looking at myself in the monitor there, and like a lot of you, your spouses and significant others or yourself, you're cutting your own hair. Colin had to trim the Fisher-Price hair a couple days ago, and he was petrified because I'm oddly particular about my hair, even though it's been the same since, Jimmy Carter was president. But anyway, he did a pretty nice job. I'm looking at, way to go, Kyle. I mean, not that we're not going to go back to Mermaid, but still, Mermaid, her real name is Kara, but she believes in mermaids. Anyway, but yeah, I was going to do a video of that, but if Colin would have nicked something, that wouldn't have turned out right. Don't forget, everybody, the Jason Show Home Edition is all new on Tuesdays and Thursdays, with best of episodes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And again, as always, I so appreciate all of your support, all of your good wishes. It really means a lot to all of us that work on the show. And if you do have a question for us, feel free. I was going to say don't. Feel free to ask us. You can find us on social media. It's been a long weekend, everybody. A long week. You can find us, just search for Jason Show TV on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And we try to get back to you as quick as humanly possible. So thanks in advance to for your patience. And people, I got asked a lot about a studio audience. I don't have any answers for you. It's probably going to be a while, but when we're able to, we can't wait to welcome you back. But for right now, that's going to do it for us. If you're watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Stay safe, stay healthy, and try to stay positive. And we will see you tomorrow.